All right, welcome back, everyone, to Learn Spanish Like I Did, the podcast where we make learning Spanish not just easy, but actually fun. I'm Wesley, and with me, as always, is the man with all the answers, Emilio.
Gracias, Wesley. Always a pleasure to be here. And today, we're tackling something that seems simple on the surface, but it's really foundational to so many conversations the months of the year. How many times have you been planning a trip or talking about a birthday, and you just freeze up trying to remember the Spanish month?
Oh, tell me about it. It's one of those things where you feel like you should know it, right? It's like I can order a coffee, I can ask for directions, but what month is it again? It's surprisingly common to stumble over these.
Exactly. And the good news is, for English speakers, many of the Spanish months share Latin roots, so they sound quite similar. But there are crucial pronunciation differences, and just getting comfortable saying them quickly.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Do we just go through them chronologically? Or do you have some secret trick to unlock them?
Let's start chronologically, but I'll weave in some pronunciation tips and memory aids as we go. Think of it as a guided tour through the calendar. So first up, the beginning of the year, January. In Spanish, it's enero, E-N-E-R-O. Enero.
Enero. Okay, the E at the beginning is like the A in bed, right? Not a long E sound.
Precisely. Short E. Enero. And remember, the R in Spanish is often a single tap, a soft R sound, not the hard R we often have in English. Think of it like a very quick twch sound almost. Enero.
Enero. Got it. Sounds a bit like energy if you squint. Enero.
That's a good way to remember it. Moving on to February. This one is febrero. F-E-B-R-E-R-O. Febrero. It actually looks very similar to English, but again, listen to the E sounds and that R sound.
Febrero. So A for both E's again, and another single R. Febrero. I feel like this one is one of the easier ones to pick up just because of how close it is to February.
Absolutely. It's a great example of a cognate, a word that looks and sounds similar in both languages. Next up, March. This one's quite short and sweet. Marzo. M-A-R-Z-O. Marzo.
Marzo. Okay, the S sound like in father, and the Z in Spanish is usually a thes sound in Spain, but a soft sound in Latin America. Which one are we going for?
Good question. For our purposes, let's go with the softest sound, like in most of Latin America. So, mar-so. If you're learning Castilian Spanish, you'd hear marzo. But marzo with an N sound is widely understood and common.
Okay, marzo. So like a lazy's, got it, and April.
April is abril. A-B-R-I-L. Abril. This one is also very straightforward. The A as in father, dieciséis is like in English, and the I is like the E in tree.
Abril. That's a nice easy one. Abril. I like that. It rolls off the tongue. So enero, febrero, marzo, abril. We're already a third of the way through the year.
See? You're doing great. Let's hit May. This one is quite different. Mayo. M-A-Y-O. Mayo.
Mayo. Okay, so the Y here is making a hue sound, like yo. So mayo. Kind of like mayonnaise without the enero.
Exactly. Mayo. It's very common in Spanish. Think ye as in I, and that ye sound is the same. Now, June. This is another one that looks similar but sounds different. Junio. J-U-N-I-O. Junio.
Junio. Okay, the June in Spanish is like a strong two sound, right? So junio. And the U is like oo in moon.
Perfect. Junio. That's spot on. And the I-O ending is just like io. Junio. For July, it's Julio. J-U-L-I-O. Julio.
Julio. So Julio. Very similar to June, just swap the N for an L. That's a pretty easy pair to remember then.
Absolutely. Junio and Julio are like siblings. And that brings us to August. Agosto. A-G-O-S-T-O. Agosto.
Agosto. Okay, I like father. The G is soft, like almost between vowels sometimes. Is it agosto or ajusto?
It's closer to agosto. The go here is like the go in go. No sound here. Agosto. And again, go as in go.
Agosto. Got it. So we've got enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto. That's 8 months down. We're crushing it.
You really are. Now for September. Septiembre. S-E-P-T-I-E-M-B-R-E. Septiembre.
Septiembre. Okay, this one is pretty recognizable. The P is silent or very soft, right? or do you pronounce it?
Good ear. Traditionally, it's often pronounced with a very soft P, or sometimes it's almost dropped in casual speech, but the most standard pronunciation includes it. Septiembre. The E is a diphthong, so it's a quick ES sound together, and that brick at the end is a common Spanish sound.
Septiembre. Okay, I'm gonna try to get that P in there softly. Septiembre, it's long but it flows.
Perfect. Now October, octubre. Octubre, octubre.
Octubre, okay, octubre looks very similar to October. The C here is like a K sound.
Yes, exactly. Octubre. Another great cognate. And for November, noviembre. Noviembre. Noviembre.
Noviembre. This one also ends in biembre, so noviembre. These last three are kind of a set, aren't they?
They absolutely are. You'll notice that pattern with septiembre, octubre, noviembre, and then finally, December, diciembre. Diciembre. Diciembre.
Diciembre, diciembre, and that septiembre in Neguac. And that septiembre is en hibre, the namens in ma fiere. And that septiembre, and that piembre, land that is? A Saint Febe?
And that septiembre, in Latin America, it's an I sound, diciembre. In Spain, it would be diciembre. Either is correct, but for consistency, let's stick with the this sound for now. So there you have it, all 12 months.
Wow, okay, let's try to run through them quickly, the whole list. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. I think I got them all.
Perfect, you nailed it. And you know, a common mistake people make is capitalizing the months in Spanish like we do in English. But in Spanish, months are not capitalized unless they start a sentence.
Oh, that's a good point. So enero would be lowercase. That's a subtle but important difference, definitely something to remember for writing.
Exactly. Another thing to consider is how we use them in sentences. Most of the time, you'll use the preposition en to say in a certain month. So, my birthday is in May would be mi cumpleaños es en mayo.
Ah, okay, that's really useful. So if I wanted to say I'm going on vacation in July, it would be voy de vacaciones en julio?
Spot on, Wesley. Voy de vacaciones en julio. Perfect. And if you're talking about a date, you'd say el primero de enero for January 1st, or el cinco de marzo for March 5th. We used the en meaning of here.
Okay, el the, for the definite article, then the number, then do, then the month. So the 1st of January. That makes sense, it's very literal.
Precisely. And remember, unlike in English where we use ordinal numbers like first, second, third for dates, in Spanish we usually just use the cardinal numbers, except for el primero for the first of the month.
That's a fantastic tip. So el 2 de febrero instead of el segundo de febrero for February 2nd, that definitely simplifies things.
It does, doesn't it? It's one less thing to worry about. Now let's talk about some little cultural tidbits or connections. For example, in many Spanish-speaking countries, especially those in the southern hemisphere, the seasons are flipped compared to the northern hemisphere. So, diciembre means summer and junio means winter.
Oh, that's mind-bending. So when you say Feliz Navidad in diciembre in Argentina, you're talking about a summer Christmas. That's wild to think about.
Exactly. Beach parties and barbecues for Christmas, it changes your whole perception of the months, doesn't it? Another fun one, Mayo. May is often associated with Dia de las Madres, Mother's Day, in many Latin American countries. While the specific date varies, it's often celebrated in May.
That's a nice connection. So when you hear Mayo, you might think of mothers. Are there any other months that have strong cultural associations like that?
Definitely. Septiembre is huge in places like Mexico and other Central American countries, because it's their Independence Month. 16 de septiembre is Mexico's Independence Day, so septiembre has a very patriotic feel there.
That's a powerful one, so you're not just learning a word, you're tapping into a whole cultural feeling. Septiembre means celebrations, history, national pride. That helps connect it to something real, you know.
Precisely. And of course, Octubre is Halloween, and Dia de Muertos in Mexico, which is a massive celebration of life and remembrance. These cultural touchstones are excellent for solidifying your vocabulary because they give the words context and emotion.
I love that. Instead of just rote memorization, you're giving them meaning. So for someone trying to really nail these, beyond just repeating them, what would you suggest?
Great question. Beyond repetition, I'd say integrate them into your daily life. Change your calendar on your phone to Spanish if you can. When you're making plans, try to think en junio instead of in June. Even just mentally translating Happy New Year to Feliz Año Nuevo en enero helps.
That's a brilliant idea. Total immersion, even if it's just in your head. What about some common phrases using months, like asking what month is it?
Ah, yes! Very useful. To ask what month is it, you'd say, ¿Qué mes es? M-E-S for mes, meaning month. ¿Qué mes es? And to answer, you could say, es month name.
Hasta es marzo, es marzo.
Yo estamos en month name. We are in month name. Estamos en abril.
Okay, so ¿qué mes es for asking, and estos or estamos en for answering? That's super practical. I can definitely see myself using that right away.
Absolutely. Another one is, ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? And you can reply, es en month name, or mi cumpleaños es en month name. This is a very common icebreaker.
That's perfect! So many opportunities to practice. Just hearing them repeatedly in conversation like we're doing now makes a huge difference. It's not just a list anymore.
Exactly. And remember that consistency is key. Even 5 minutes a day, going through the months, mentally planning your week or year using the Spanish names will build that muscle memory. Maybe pick a favorite month and really get that pronunciation down.
I think I'm going to adopt Julio as my favorite, just because it's so close to junio and makes it easy. And who doesn't love summer? Emilio, this has been incredibly helpful. I feel like I've gone from vaguely knowing a few months to actually having them organized in my head.
That's fantastic to hear, Wesley. And remember, practice, practice, practice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, that's how we learn. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become. And soon, you'll be rattling off enero a diciembre, like a native speaker.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again, Emilio, for breaking down the Spanish months so clearly. And thank you all for joining us on Learn Spanish like I did. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.
Hasta la próxima, amigos.